welcome to the live stream about the stock market stocks, the stock market crash. Oh my gosh, what's going on? If you remember 2 weeks ago, I did talk about Bitcoin setting up for a major move. Well, guess what? We have now lost, about 2 weeks ago, we were at 40. Now we're down at 29,000. We've lost 25% on Bitcoin in the past 2 weeks. So let's get into it. Let's look at everything. Let me get rid of this and let's check this out. Let me get the live stream up on the other computer so I can see the chat and also share out on Twitter. And I wanted to show you guys next Tuesday, I will be doing a free webinar, 30-minute webinar in the middle of the day. So I invite you to come and join me. And we will be talking about short squeezes. With this market going down, we could be primed for some amazing short squeezes. In fact, we saw 2 today with GameStop and with AMC. So we'll look at those charts as well. Let me grab the link. All right. Over here. Why is it not letting me? Very weird. Twitter's acting up. I was having an issue with my Gmail too earlier. Copy right here. Let's put on here AMC, GME, Bitcoin. Let's look at what else are we going to do? Let's do, yeah, that's good. All right, let's put the link and done. All right, let me get the chat up for you guys so I can see what's going on. Let me see, I might have to mute this for a second. Hopefully, I think it's already muted so that I'm not listening. Oof. I got to get a little fan for my, yeah, perfect. We are muted. All right, all right. So I am a little bit earlier. I was checking out SRTY, checking out the weekly chart. Let's look at the SPY. So I do have a 1 month chart up over here. Hey, Roger. I know, you little rascal. Oh, I also want to let you guys know that if you want to join me live in the mornings, 8:15 in the morning, I do my list that you see right over here live every single morning, 8:15. Come on and join me over there. Okay, so the free webinar that I will be doing on Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern is going to be right here. I'll give you the link for that right there. So that is going to be the room where I'm doing the free webinar. So come over and join me next Tuesday at 12:30. We'll be talking about short squeezes. We do have a free webinar in there every Tuesday at 12:30. So don't be shy. Come and join us. And let's see what's going on with the market. So I have the monthly chart up here. You can see that the month of March of last year, we had an open at 385.59. If we go below 385, then I would say, hey, 380. So watch out. If we're not able to reclaim 400, there's a very good chance that we will be heading down, as some people might say, bigly in the market. And we did have a nice retracement today, but look, you can see how we hit this. This is the 24 EMA on a 45-minute chart, and now we're coming down. Would anticipate maybe we're going to head down to 385 now, like I said over here on the weekly chart. We'll look at it on a, monthly chart. Let's check out the 3 weeks too. So when we look at the 3 weeks, 3 months, sorry about that, we could be heading down all the way to 375. So I was talking to some people earlier. They're like, oh my goodness, we're in a bear market. Yeah, we've pretty much, when we broke down 430, we took out the first quarter ever. When we look back, let's make this bigger to prepare you guys, right? Just be prepared. That's what it's all about, right? So if we look at this, maybe this is a 90-week excuse me, a 90 simple moving average. Well, this is on a 3-month span, so maybe that would have been where we came back in 2009, right? So if we look at this, we'd had 2007, 3 months. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would equate to 18 months. That would be an 18-month run. Let me slide it over a little bit so you guys can actually see the dates there. There you go. So we have the top off the 2nd of July, and then we started the downward turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we had a bit of a bounce with some buying right there. Not so sure that we're seeing buying from the dark pools right now. I think this is going to turn into a very bad crash. Not to scare you, but be prepared, right? If we look at this chart on average, right, this is 2007 to 8. This is worse than back then. We have high inflation. We have a bubble in the housing market. The US government, who's probably the largest owner of mortgage-backed securities now, just mentioned it's time for us to start selling mortgage-backed securities. What happened in 2008 when I believe it was Lehman Brothers that sold the mortgage-backed securities? It caused the housing market to implode. Plus, higher interest rates are making it so that people are less likely to qualify. Their paychecks do not go as far to cover those flexible rate mortgages. We will likely start to see that we will have foreclosures. We are going to have people that are not going to qualify, so houses are going to sit on the market. And it's probably going to be about 18 months of downward turn, in my opinion, on the market. Well, here's our first 6 months of it, right? This is looking at the 3rd of January. These are 3-month candlesticks right here. If we go conservative, we follow this 24 EMA, right? This orange dotted line, conservatively down to 327. That's a conservative move. If we were to say, okay, we're going to go to this bottom that we've held as support, we held it in 2011, we tested it in 2020. All right, sort of midway, we're going to go to maybe, let's see if this is going to be a 6-month downward turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Move this over. 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 269, right? If we want to say worst case scenario, if this is equivalent, if I could extend this line backwards, I think it would be roughly right here, the 90 simple moving average for the 3-month chart. We could be heading all the way down to 183. So my personal targets are going to be roughly 329. Now, maybe it's going to come up a little bit. Maybe it will be 340 by the time we get down there. We could have a super crash that will close the market for a couple days. But, you know, the trend where this would be like, hey, this is the most conservative would be 330. Then it's going to get a little bit further. Okay, 270, 269, right? 270 area. Really aggressive, big, hard crash over the next 6 months, 184 on the SPY, right? So that's still pretty, 330 is still a big drop off of 480. That's 150 points. That's 30%. If we were to go down to 183 from 480, let's see, divide that up 4 times 6. Hold on. 180 over 480, 37%, almost a 66% correction in this market. So in my opinion, cash is always a position. And looking at longer term holdings, hey, until I start to see the dark pool buying, I am not convinced based on the overall global economic conditions that are happening. I think that this could become a lot worse before it gets better, right? But this is the big macro picture view of what happened in 2007 to 9, right? Here we had it again, 2000. This is when I first started my trading. Look at how many months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 times 3 months. That's 30 months. That's 2.5 years. Yes, Mr. Smith, if you know how to short, right? You're loving this market. Not everybody understands this. I know there's some people that watch me that are newer traders, that are longer term investors, that have a different perspective than day trading. And so I want to give the viewpoint for people that, hey, this is not the bull market that we have seen since 2009, right? 2009 all the way up to 22, 13 years. If you look at Gann's cycle, that tends to be roughly a 12 to 13 year cycle. And this is roughly the projected target for the next big crash in his books. So I want those people that are not day traders to understand that they might want to be conservative because maybe they just got into the market over the past 18 months and it was a full-on Fed rocket ship. Now the Fed is tightening. They're going to be selling mortgage-backed securities, taking money out of the economy. They're raising interest rates, taking money out of people's pockets so that they have less money to buy in this inflationary time. It's a big old mess. Big mess. All right. So let's go into the nitty-gritty of the charts for today. And again, I do my watch list live 8:15. If you want to join me, just sign up as a member. It's roughly $1 a day. Pretty affordable, right? So we come down here. This is a trend line. This yellow trend line is one that I drew on a monthly chart here. And so we're testing this. And I'd watch that 385 level big time. When we look at, I've got to be conscientious too because I'm heading out to lunch today. We also have the Qs here. Same sort of bounce, right? And we are down below a lot of the moving averages. Let me turn off my simples. I just wanted them on for that one example for the SPY for you guys. So now we're down below. We did have a bounce today, but it looks like a bounce with sell volume, in my opinion. Came up and now we're coming back down. Oh, Patty Wampus. Yeah. Did you see my tweet about that? Looks like BlackRock and Citadel were working together to crash everything. Hold on. I'm going to pull that up for you so you can check it out. If not, just follow me. It's Airplane Jane on Twitter. Let's pull this up right over here. So basically USDT and Bitcoin are tied together. So BlackRock and Citadel borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin from Gemini and they swapped 25,000 of that Bitcoin into USDT. This was all done quietly in anticipation of the attack. When the time was right, they called up Don Kwan at Terra Foundation and said that they wanted to sell a lot of Bitcoin for UST. As it was largely traded, they told him they didn't want to move the market and asked if he would like to buy their large block of Bitcoin at a discount for UST. Do Kwon took the bait. He gave them a huge chunk of UST, thus lowering the UST liquidity significantly. At that point, BlackRock and Citadel dumped all of the Bitcoin and UST, causing a massive slippage and triggering a cascade of forced selling in both assets. The real problem was BlackRock Citadel knew that the anchor, which holds a lot of Luna, was a Ponzi scheme. They offered 20% staking APY for Christ's sake, and this crash would trigger more withdrawals than the anchor can repay. These forced withdrawals and selling would trigger a massive sell-off in Luna, thus further breaking the $1 peg and wrecking the market further. Bitcoin and USDT are going to implode on themselves. I called this out before. They are not something good, in my opinion, to hold. They will likely crash big time. And so, in my opinion, I would watch out for that. Oh, it's okay, Mr. Smith. You can hold Bitcoin if you want. It's going to go to zero. It's going to crash, and so is USDT. No problem about that. Yeah, USDT is going to implode on itself. And those that are not paying attention to the warnings are going to be hurt, unfortunately. But that's what risk management is all about. Even in trading, of course they're going to state that it's a rumor. They're the largest owner of retirement money in the world. Why would they admit to the fact that they are playing dirty pool? That's right, Patty Wampus. That's right. Okay, so Russell 2000 stocks, you got it. ISO 2022, XLM, and I'm doing a Stellar workshop for those that want to learn the Stellar network. So cool. Thank you actually for leading into that. Right here on how to use the Stellar network, liquidity pools, wallets, all of the different products. That's going to be happening on the 26th of May. Middle of the day, but available on recording. Okay, so Dow Jones, only 30 stocks. This is the weakest at the moment, down 1%. This is pretty ugly. Yeah. Nope. You know what, Mr. Smith? The best thing is do your research. Best thing. I have done my research. I am confident in my positions in the crypto space at the moment. All right, VXX. Somebody was asking about Vixx as well as perspective. What are my late thoughts on Vixx at 32? So right now we have VXX. This is above the 24 EMA. To me, this shows that we went bearish the 22nd of April, right? Let's look at the VIX. So the VIX at the same time, 22nd of April. Yeah, I like Cardano, Tony. Same thing. So right now, as long as we stay above 29, feeling bearish on the market. I'm feeling bearish because we are below a lot of dark pool selling, right? So if you don't know what dark pool selling is, check out the dark pools, right? You can come into that free room that I posted up earlier. I wonder if I can pin something. How cool would that be? Can I pin this to the top? Who pinned that message? There you go. So that should be pinned on your chat. So you can come there free, learn a little bit about the dark pools. Every Tuesday, we do have a free webinar. So until we start seeing the dark pools buying, this market is going to go down and be worse. So if you're just joining, first of all, hit the like button if you like what you see, and check out the beginning or rewind during the live. You can actually do that. And check out the beginning of my live stream where I'm talking about the SPY. I think it's going to get really, really ugly. All right. So on the list today, a lot of great trades, both directions for the indexes. Let's check out CPNG. And hey, where is it? Here it is. All right. So CPNG. So this had a nice run up. This has 1.5 billion in the float, above 1150 today. Nice move. Look at that. $1.70. You could have made over 10% today if you'd waited patiently, got in at the right time, and boom, rode this to the upside. There are going to be a fair amount of short squeezes and bounces in the market, and I'm covering that in the free room next week. We'll be talking about short squeezes, and I'll mention a couple perspective to look at that have higher short volume, not short float. I'll be talking all about that. So come on and join me over then. All right. So VOD, Vodafone, didn't really do too much today. Look at that. It's just dropped 2 cents below. It's a slower mover, but it did have a large amount of volume this morning. So that's why it made the list. TPR had earnings today. Nice move up above 28.50. Right at the opening bell, it started to move up above. But check out how it's following that moving average, right? Came all the way up to 31.57. Nice move off of $28.53, right? 10% there again. EQR. We're looking at this. This had a nice short the beginning of the day. No, Mr. Smith, I haven't touched on ARK. You know what? Everyone's like, oh my goodness, Kathy Woods. Well, she got into Tesla, then she sold a large amount of Tesla, just got into GM on their cars. Here's the thing. I love Tesla. I'll go over at the end. However, it's not just a car company. And that's where I think a lot of people are getting confused. They're like, oh, it's an electric car company. It was the first in the space. No, it's also a solar power company. It's also a solar battery company. There's so many different attributes to it because they did buy out Solar City with Tesla. So it's sort of an umbrella corporation, and it has a lot more to it than just the car sector. And who knows, maybe he'll create flying cars one day, or fully autonomous, or definitely on their way. Will he create a hovering car or something like that? I wouldn't put it past him. He's got some pretty amazing inventions out there. All right, so EQNR, following the downward trend on the daily chart here, came up, a bounce day. You could have made trades heading down and then ride that retracement all the way back up. You can see the big volume right here. Once we came and really touched the 8 EMA on the left. I did put ePay on here earlier, but I didn't actually keep it on the list. We dropped that off. CGEM. Yeah. Drone people already happen out there, right? Hey, why do he doesn't even need to create fully autonomous humans. There's a lot of CGI that happens, right? All right, like the Fast and Furious movie, that was awesome with Paul Walker. So this one, first one that really didn't have a great trade either direction. Pretty amazing, right? Everything else so far, Coinbase had a rebound after their shelf offering yesterday, plus all the issues that were going on with traders. I know everybody that I know that has their money here has had a hard time getting it out. Hey, an exchange is only good if you're able to not only create the exchange there, but also be able to move your coins or fiat money out of the exchange. Coinbase makes it very difficult. So in my opinion, I've never used them personally, but I hear of all the problems with them. And this is a pretty nasty chart when you look at it over time. It went all the way up to 360 and now it's down to 53. That 50 level was pretty strong. And then once we broke 51, the pre-market highs, a nice surge up, retracement up here. I'm surprised it didn't go all the way up to 64.50. Marathon Oil looking flat on the day. Look at the levels are 89. We had this big print down here and it started trading up here earlier in the day. So I was checking out to see if it would go up or down. Oh, nice job, Troy. Yeah. I don't really like him too much, Mr. Smith. Personally, right? Hey, everybody's entitled to an opinion. So Apple had nice short trade. This definitely affects the market as Apple is a large percentage of both the SPY and the Qs. So Apple and Microsoft today, both being to the downside, is leading to the indexes being to the downside. It's good to know what the holdings are in the S&P 500 and how much they are weighted, right? Microsoft brought down the Qs and S&P 500. When you have these charts up side by side, you will see Microsoft and Apple look very similar to the Qs and S&P 500. And then JD, Roger and Troy, who get my list, have been rocking it, right? What's my favorite thing to say, Roger? Give you a second because I know there's a delay. All right. So JD, nice little trade both ways, right? And you guys have been rocking this. Look at that, coming down from 63 to 48. You got it, Roger. Trade the chart. Okay, so let's look at Tesla. If you guys have any stocks you want to talk about or cryptos, we can pull them up. Oops, wrong chart. Over here. So I love Tesla. I'm going to look at this back on a weekly chart to see. It's a little bit easier to see. I'm not sure why that's there. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. So we had this upward resistance. We had a upward wedge that formed. It broke out, squeezed to the upside. I would come down here, create a little. So we still broke this. Look for this to come back up, maybe test and move down. We also have a big downward wedge right here. So this could get pretty ugly. We might head on down to 575, 570 would be, hey, this is where I'd love to get in, right? But I would use maybe 512 as my exit. So if I got in here, $60, maybe 510 as my stop. this is a bigger picture view, right? I'd wait for it to do one of these, like this. And I'd probably want to get in like this, not when it's coming just all the way down. Look at, we've been down really ever since we hit the high back in November. So I would be waiting for this to continue and then sort of create a smiley face. Hey, when the chart gives you a smiley face, it's time to get in. Good thing to remember, right? When you get the smiley face, it's going to make you happy to get in at that time, not when it's about to slice off your fingers, right? This is the slicing off of your fingers. Don't try to catch it and it slices them. When you have that smile, it's good to get it. All right, let's go to Netflix. So Netflix looks, this is a weekly chart. I know. So let's look at it on 24-hour. Netflix is still just coming down the hill. Even though it had better earnings, we have a slow growth of revenue with subscriber base. So as long as the subscriber base is no longer growing, that means that the only way for them to really be able to increase revenue is to increase pricing. Honestly, I'm getting frustrated with them constantly increasing pricing almost monthly now. Do have it with kids. It is quite important. Okay, I've got to really wrap it up quickly. We'll look at Disney and Hulu and Bitcoin, and then I'm going to call it quits for the day. Okay, so right now, Disney, pretty nasty. Let's look at this on a weekly chart. You want to be very careful with the inverse ETFs and ETNs. So this is not even all the way back down to the lows of 2020, but watching this, if we go below 100 right here, I'd watch for the 95, 90, 85 level, and then 80. If we go below 80, it's going to get really nasty for Disney. And let's check out the monthly chart. So we did just hit the 161 EMA today on the monthly chart. And you can see we came back down to that March of 2020. So that's why that probably acted as support. If we see dark pool buying come in, but we would need to have a lot of volume today for me to feel confident and have it close to the upside. I need to see it be above 108. All right, let's check out Hulu. This is like speed chart. Hulu, I don't think that it is a, I don't know. Tell me what the ticker is. So SOX, semiconductors, ETF. I would wait, NAD, same thing. Wait for it to have a support level that is showing, hey, I'm seeing that this is giving me that smiley face. I want to get in. Don't try to catch the falling knife, right? Look, it came all the way back down here to the blue one. If you got in here, $50 would be my perspective, right? Over here, be careful until it's giving us that upward motion. Now let's look at Bitcoin really quickly. Check out the nasty chart that we have going on over there. It was right here. Here we go. Bitcoin USD or USDT. Either one. So we came down, we're on a weekly chart. We did hit a trend line from back here all the way back in March of 2020. That's our trend line that's set up. Let me delete these over here. Trash coin. Okay, so we did have big volume come into it. Let's check it on a 24-hour chart. It's still fairly bearish. We've had big volume for the past 4 days. So what I personally would do is say, hey, we have this big volume for the past 4 days. I'm going to, actually, we could do an anchored VWAP from this day. As long as we stay below 30,086, I'm bearish, right? I would need it to go above 34,000 for me to be confident that that is buying volume. Otherwise, full on bear for Bitcoin. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Reminder, I will put the link for the free webinar that will be happening next Tuesday in the Dark Pools free room. Come on over, join us, and check it out. And if you'd like to join me live every single morning, I do create my watch list live. It's roughly $1 a day. Just subscribe as a member to my YouTube channel, and we can hash it out all in the morning. Have an amazing day. Carpe Profits.